Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to yet another episode of Collectables Corner. This is the show where we sit in this corner of my bedroom and we just talk about collectibles. And today's episode is one I've been wanting to do for a while. This episode is on the very broad subject of statues. I know last episode we did a very specific topic with a specific line of Funko Pops. This time I wanted to do a topic that was a bit more broad because everybody knows what a statue is. And in case you don't know what a statue is typically something that is just a static sculpture. It's usually a piece of art that is not movable. Like, it's not an action figure. Like, let's say I grab this little 3 3/4 inch version of Anakin Skywalker here. This is not a statue. This is an action figure because he is articulated. He can move. You can see I can move his hand. I can pose him however I feel. This does not qualify as a statue. A statue is something that cannot move. And let's say I grab my little Bush Fire Heroes pop here. You're probably thinking, hey man, would this qualify as a statue? Technically, no, because the head is movable. And also, it's not life-size or larger. Typically, statues are life-size or larger. However, in the collectibles realm, statues are usually about 12 to 14 inches tall. There are some life-size statues. I personally have not invested in any of those because, holy crap, where would I even put those things? I know Sideshow has come out with a couple of life-size statues. The one that pops into my head right now is the life-size Boba Fett statue, which looks amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't have anywhere to put that, and I wouldn't have any use for it. And in terms of statues myself, I do have a couple. That's why I'm doing an episode on it. I'm here to showcase my statues. And all of my statues come from the same company. They're known as Diamond Select Toys. They make reasonably affordable statues made out of PVC, so nothing expensive when it comes to the materials used to make the actual statue or the paints or anything like that. These statues that I'm about to show you here run in the price range of about $50 to $75 a piece. Most of mine I got for under $50 though. So now that I've told you what a statue is and what qualifies as a statue, I'm now going to show you some of mine, which are currently located on the floor here. And I'm going to be showing you all these statues in chronological order from when I purchased them. And to start off, we're going to start with the very first statue I ever purchased. This is Wolverine from Old Man Logan. I remember specifically when I purchased this statue, I was looking online for more premium items, and I run across this beautiful bastard right here on eBay, actually. I believe I purchased this around the time of April of 2017. I remember it was close to tax season because I was looking forward to spending the money I got back from my tax returns on this guy right here. It might have been 2016 now that I think about it. I don't remember the exact year it was, but I do remember why I purchased it. It was, the tax return reason. This statue cost me about $45 on eBay at the time. I don't know if it has risen in price. I'll show you all here on the screen if there's any auctions for it now and what it's going for now. When I first saw photos of this statue, I was in love. I love the storyline of Old Man Logan from the Marvel comic books. It is insane and it's glorious. Anybody who has not read that storyline, you absolutely should go out and read it right now. It's an amazing story. And I love Wolverine. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters, so it just made sense that I wanted to pick up this statue. This thing has amazing detail to it. The face looks like it was translated directly from the comic book pages. The jacket, how it flows down his body and cascades out when it gets to his legs. I even love the backside of the statue where there's part of Captain America's shield and a broken Iron Man suit. Those are great details to add to this piece. My one problem with this statue though, the claws. They are PVC, and noticeably so. They're very movable. As you can see, I'm doing it right now. You can move it like that, and they're not made out of the most sturdy material, and they can get misshapen easily if you do not handle the statue correctly. So if you're looking into buying one for yourself, please note that the claws are easily movable, and if they come messed up in the package, it's not the manufacturer's or the seller's fault. It's just, this is made out of PVC, and they're just easy to move because they're so skinny. This one right here wants to hang back a little bit from the others, and I cannot for the life of me get it to stay up. See that there? You know, it hangs down. Cannot get it to stand up. But regardless of the claws, this piece is beautiful. My next purchase of a statue, again from Diamond Select Toys, was another Marvel character. Pretty much all my statues are Marvel characters. I just feel like I didn't mention that at the beginning of this video, but all my statues are Marvel characters. This one, however, I purchased after seeing Avengers Infinity War. Probably guess who this character is, just from that description. It's the Mad Titan, Thanos himself. Thanos in Infinity War was just an amazing villain. That movie is amazing in and of itself, but Thanos as the main character, in quotation marks, as well as the antagonist, was just so perfect in how that character was executed. Josh Brolin's performance was amazing, and I wanted a premium collectible to showcase the awesomeness that is Thanos. So I picked up the statue, and I still love it to this very day. I love how the statue comes together. I think my favorite part is its base, and that's funny saying that now, because it's like, oh, I don't really care about the statue itself. I care about the base that's standing on. But the base is awesome. It looks kind of like Titan. It resembles it, kind of. It's not exactly Titan, but you can tell that he's standing on rubble, like he has just demolished a city or something. And just how he's posed with the gauntlet like that. I mean, this statue looks imposing and is amazing. Once again, the paintwork is excellent on the clothing. I do have a bit of a scratch on the front of Thanos' chest there, but that doesn't really bother me. I love how it's textured in some places as well. On the torso and on his upper thighs, there's actually some texture to the clothing there, and it feels really nice. There's also some lines on his arms that have some texture, and that head, man, the likeness is amazing. It looks just like Josh Brolin's Thanos. Do have some negatives with this statue, however. I don't think the shade of purple is exactly right. It doesn't look exactly like Thanos in the movie. I think it's just a few shades off. However, I still love the statue. It's just a little bit of a negative. Also, the gauntlet. Extremely muted colors there. I would have liked to have seen a more vibrant color for this piece. And also, these stones inside of the gauntlet, they are a bit muted as well. Aside from the mind and the time stone, it's kind of hard to tell that there's any stones in there. Regardless of those little gripes, I still love this statue, and it is it's amazing that this one actually was my second purchase, and I still love it to this day. He's a hefty boy too. He's a lot heavier than Wolverine in here. I mean, he's hefty. He's putting on some pounds. My third statue is yet another Marvel character, and it was yet another tax return purchase. It's another one of my favorite Marvel heroes as well. If you know me, you know who my three favorite Marvel characters are. So I've already talked about Wolverine, so it can only be one of two people. I'll just go ahead and tell you. It's the Punisher from the Netflix series. Jon Bernthal, to me, is the definitive live-action Punisher. He's better than Thomas Jane. He's better than Dolph Lundgren. Better than Ray Stevenson. He is the ultimate Punisher to me. He just embodies everything that Frank Castle is as a character, and I wanted a statue to represent that because my Marvel Legends action figure was not enough to showcase my love for the Netflix series of The Punisher. This statue once again features great paintwork and great sculpting on the vest where the Punisher skull is located. It does have some texture on the vest area, not a lot, but some. There's a bunch of texture on the wall though that he is being knocked into. That wall looks amazing, as well as his base. His base looks awesome too. It's got smoke rising up from the ground, like there's shots being fired near him. It's got a sledgehammer on the ground as well, which I believe is a reference to the first episode of season 1. So really awesome that they threw that in there. Punisher is a very muted character in terms of colors, so there's not a lot of colors on this figure here. However, I do like how there's different shades of black on his pants, torso, and boots. They don't stand out that much, however, you can tell that they're all a separate tone of black. I love the skull on his vest. It looks accurate to the Netflix series, and I love his 1911s in his hands there. That's a beautiful gun already, but man, they look even better in this little statue form. And I like how there's a little silver tone on the side of the weapon near where his fingers are. I just love that little detail. There's even a painted bullet flying out of one of his pistols. I think that's supposed to be the case on the second one, however mine doesn't have that painted detail, but that's fine. I do like how there are shells being fired out of the sides of the weapons. That's really awesome, and a puff of smoke. Then we get to the head. The head is where I have a bit of a problem with the statue. The likeness, it's there, but it's not 100% John Bernthal. I think there could have been a little bit more in terms of facial injuries, because if you watch the Punisher Netflix series, he's almost never in good shape in terms of his face. He's always got a couple of cuts or scrapes on his face. And this statue, it's got that, but it doesn't have nearly enough. Other than the face and some of the paint details being missing from my statue, this is an excellent piece, and I recommend it to anyone who's a fan of the Punisher Netflix series. Alright, so we've saved the best for last. This is the most recent statue purchase. This came after I saw Avengers Endgame. Actually, there's a funny story about this one before I reveal it to you. I was looking around one day on Instagram, I think it was, and Instagram gives you weird ads for other websites that you can purchase stuff on, and I saw this particular statue was being advertised on a website. I think it was called Toy World or something. It had something to do with toys and something to do with a planet or a world. I think it was Toy World. I don't really remember, but I saw the statue was available for pre-order from that site. Immediately I clicked pre-order. A couple of months later, a box shows up at my door. And I'm like, huh, weird. Where did this come from? Open that box up, turns out it's the statue. I forgot I pre-ordered it, and I hadn't checked my online bank account in a while, because then I saw that my card had been charged for this statue, which was, I think, $50 or so. Oh, I should probably tell you how much I got Thanos and the Punisher for. I think Punisher was about the same price as Wolverine, and I think Thanos was in the $60 range. But this one, I remember I got for 50 bones exactly. So let's not beat around the bush. It's my third favorite Marvel character, Iron Man, from Avengers Endgame. Endgame was the perfect end to Iron Man's character arc. I am so sad that he's gone, but I'm happy that he went out on his own terms and that he was given a satisfying end to his character that I, myself, as a huge Iron Man fan, was happy with. And this statue is nothing to sneeze at. This might be my favorite statue because of just how great this paint work is. I already love the Mark AD5 suit as it is, but here in this metallic paint job, it just looks even better than it did on screen or on my Marvel Legends action figure. This thing looks awesome. And this pose, man, this pose is amazing as well. This has such an incredibly dynamic pose with him blasting off with his fist in the air and him firing out of his hand, his repulsor blast. I mean, this pose is awesome. And even the base has some great work too. It's got his rocket jets firing out of his boots as he's blasting off. And you have a ton of blast effects whirling on the base. Mostly muted colors because, you know, the battle at the end of Endgame was mostly muted in terms of color because it was on a giant gray plane. So that's reflected in the statue here. But holy crap, man, that detail work on those boot jets. Oh, it's amazing. Also, I was just messing with it here, and this part seems to want to move a little bit. It's kind of flexing. In terms of the other statues, I had problems with each of them, but this one, I don't think there's a problem that I have with it. I mean, this thing is almost damn near perfect. Other than the fact that I'm afraid it's gonna fall over at some point. The glue's gonna loosen or something, and then this Iron Man's just gonna go boop and fall right over because of just how skinny this part is. You know, there's just not much holding him up there, and I already showed you earlier that this part's starting to flex a little bit, so I have a feeling there's a time limit with this statue, but that could just be me worrying about stuff that I shouldn't be worrying about, but it does kind of perplex me. So folks, that pretty much is it for my entire statue collection. As I said earlier, there are other things that could technically be considered statues, but these are just pure statues. These are the only pure statues I have in my collection. In terms of me purchasing more of these guys, I don't know. The Diamond Select hasn't come out with a lot that has particularly interested me, and now that I've got my 3 favorite Marvel heroes in my collection in some kind of premium format, I don't feel like I need any more statues. I think I'm happy with the 4 I have. Now, let's not say that if Diamond Select decides to put out a really awesome Captain America or a really awesome Thor or something like that, I wouldn't, you know, pull out the wallet and purchase another one. But in terms of right now, I'm happy with these statues I've got right now. I mean, I've got my favorite one right here. I mean, this might be my favorite statue of all time that I own right now, at least. I mean, it is my favorite in my Iron Man collection because of just how detailed this paint job is. I love how I'm just kind of cradling the Punisher right now, kind of like a baby. Good boy, Frank. Got the other 2 on the shelf behind me there. I tried to get them all in the shot, but it's hard. It's hard when you've got all of this over here that you can't move or anything, but I'm doing the best I can. If you enjoyed this episode of Collectables Corner, please let me know down in the comments. And let me know what else you would like to see me cover on the show. I've got more ideas in my head for future episodes, but I'm always looking for fan suggestions. So please let me know what you would like to see covered here on Collectables Corner. That all being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, good night, everybody.